Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we have another battle rap and we are here to test a set of special rule and scenario that at the moment are at the attention of Jervis Johnson and maybe something boil on to put this scenario out to upgrade the regular one. So some new rules. The Vanguard artillery that I suggest in the previous video, and here you can see I deployed in open order brigade of Leger, so a Vanguard infantry, but I don't want to put too many info because it's a test. Take it as it is, something new that is boiling on. Today is a casual scenario between the French against the Austrian, and the aim of the French, which are the attacker, is to push their brigade over the half of the table, and the Austrian are there to stop the push of the French, which simulate an attack into the line, and the defenders that are coming to stop it. At the end of the game, every defeat will be summed to every brigade commander which are over the center of the table. 6 inches, 12 inches in the enemy deployment zone grant 1, 2 or 3 victory point, which are added to any defeat inflicted to the enemy, and the defender should kill or retain the enemy battalions and brigade on this side and their side of the table and grant point in this way, and add the defeat inflicted. And now moving into the show of the army and the generals. So the army, let's start from my left to the right of the French deployment, starting with the Vanguard infantry. Every name is real but not historically correct, but I'd like to have name of my generals, so be patient if they are not leading the correct brigade or division, okay, but it is. So General Mejean lead the light brigade made of 3 battalion of Leger, 1, 2 and 3, and 4 detachment of light infantry in the form of 4 foot dragoons. And this unit here, the one which this flag here, are veteran in melee, the other are regular. Then moving into this side, this is the 2nd brigade led by General Solignac, 3 line infantry battalion regular with a unit of combined grenadier. In front of them 2 detachment of voltigeur and an horse-drawn field artillery gun. Then on their right we have the 2nd in command, General Lapisse, which has the tract of bold, and the light cavalry commander Girardin, leading 2 units of chasseurs and cheval, 1 squadron of hussars, and 1 squadron of freshly painted Polish lancers, and a unit of artillery on cheval. In the center we have 3rd Brigade, General Lefebvre, lead 1 battalion of Swiss, 2 battalion of Polish infantry, 1 and 2, and 1 unit of regular infantry. The Swiss are the veteran in melee and tenacity. Then the overall commander, Marshal Suchet, which has a strategist and stubborn. Strategist 36 inches of range, and stubborn mean the +1 to the valor test. Then the guard, led by General Bessier, 1 unit of grenadier, 1 unit of chasseur, and in front of them a combined unit of guard voltigeur, the light battalion of guard. promoted to elite fire and elite tenacity to represent the guard. Then the heavy cavalry, La Roche is the general, and we have 2 squadron of cuirassier and 2 squadron of dragoon. The vanguard artillery is composed of a battery of 3 12-pounder led by Colonel Barrois as the artillery trait. And finally, on the far right, General Boselton, which is 1st Brigade, made of 3 regular line infantry, 1 unit of grenadier, and 2 detachment made of voltigeurs. And this is for the French. Now moving into the Austrian. And in front of the French, the defender. And starting with the right to the left, we have the 1st Grenzen Schwarzwood lead this brigade made by a battalion of Jäger in front, 2 battalion of Grenzen, and 1 unit of Hussars, 1 squadron of Hussar and 1 squadron of Lance. Then on their left we have the Commander General Kerper leading the 1st Brigade made of 4 battalion, 2 in line, 2 in column. In front of them a detachment of Jäger and a deployed heavy artillery cannon. Behind Kerper, the 2nd in command, General of Division General Blinken, is intractable. He allows a friendly troop within 12 inches, which is fighting back, to add 1 to their melee value. Then, in the real center on this hill, Colonel Hock, leading the 3rd Brigade, is exactly like the other one. 4 battalion, all of them in column of attack. In front of them a detachment of Jäger, and this time a field gun limbered with their train, and behind them the General Linkenstein. Aggressive and inspiring are their trait, and inept is the malus trait. He cannot use the automatic activation. Inept is the name, but I think this is so eager to get the enemy that sometimes forgot to send his order. Anyway, then the reserves, just here, Willem Reserve Grenadier. We are here with 1 cannon, 1 field gun, and 2 unit of Grenadier. Then Charnost Reserve Cuirassier with 2 unit of heavy cavalry. And on that side, behind this small hill, we have this unit of 2 Grenadier and a field gun with an officer, which I forgot the name. I will provide soon. Moving on, the left, we have in front Wurt, Colonel Wurt, which lead another Grenzen brigade made by 2 battalions of Grenzen, another battalion of Jäger, and 2 squadrons, 1 of Hussars, 1 of Ulan, and horse artillery. And back as a reserve, the 2nd Brigade Knodwitz, made by 4 line battalion without artillery. And that's it. Now moving to see who will have the first turn, and start the first turn in a second. And to keep easy and simple, I will try to show turn after turn, unless there is something very, very important, rather than bother you with both fire and melee and activation. So I will make a turn recap for the French, a turn recap for the Austrian, in order to shorten the video. And that's it. The attacker has the first turn. I double check the scenario rules. So the French will start with a 2. So not bad at this point, because nothing really matter for the card. I hope to do not see it again. So we start with the fire and the movement. Oh well, the first turn for the French is over. Everything successfully activated under Marshal Bessier. The light infantry has moved forward, given the distance from a possible charge. They are more than 18 inches from that cavalry here and that cavalry here. This unit here occupy the woods, and the same in the center, there is no cavalry. They take advantage of the position. Then the light cavalries rush forward and deploy their horse artillery, and the other brigades followed. The Solignac moved his men forward, taking the hill. In the center, both Lefebvre and Bessier moved the guard and the center brigade towards the enemy. Heavy cavalry protect the artillery battery and take position on both sides, and on the far left, Brigade Boselton was freely activated and moved forward, keeping the pace with their voltigeur, and that's it. The fire from this artillery was very successfully and shaking the Uhlans in front of them, because they can take the advantage to choose their target, and that's it. Now moving into the Austrian turn. Austrian turn, the EA has an equal defense. I slightly changed the card to suit better what the dice roll. They are equal at the moment, no particular advantage. So on the left 3 react, on the center 6 probe, and on the right react. And this means with probe unit prefer shooting against melee, shooting the enemy engage melee only if the enemies are shaken, or with counter-strike unit on the side, so they will move, shoot and move. And with probe, with engage unit prefer melee over fire, engage only against enemy with 2 casualty. If the enemy is an advantage, AE will shoot as it best and prepare eventually counter-strike. So at the moment they will move and shoot what they can with their skirmish. So the first turn, I say, the first card for the Austrian is a Jack, which means well-disciplined. It's a very powerful card for the Austrian. A unit failed its Valor test, change the Valor test to successfully, and add 1 to the Valor for the rest of the turn. It's a very powerful one, so keep ear for the later melee. And now proceeding into the Austrian turn. And the second turn, first turn for the Austrian has finished, and start with the Wurz Brigade and failed to activate and remain where they are deployed. The rest of the Austrian army successfully activated and quite successfully shoot off. The second brigade take over the Blundering Brigade, and the cuirassiers were forced to move forward because the enemy heavy cavalry is approaching and they need to protect their line. And due to the cavalry, the 3rd Brigade has moved forward and taken the mass formation for the troops that are in range of charge of the Dragoon. They're shooting with their skirmisher, put 1 casualty here, 1 casualty here for the heavy artillery, and 1 casualty here for the skirmisher of the 1st Brigade. 1st Brigade, which successfully activated, move forward. The 2nd Battalion take the column of assault ready to storm the woods, and Blinken is with them. Then both the Grenadier, here they take the hill, and there they take the hill, while the 1st Grenadier Brigade is successfully moved and deployed its artillery. And that's it. Now moving and their fire from this Jaeger here put 1 casualty into the French veteran Leger, 1st Leger. And that's it. Now moving into the French second turn. So the second turn start again, another 2. It's enough. Okay, no card even for this turn. And now moving into the French turn, shooting, and then a quick recap at the end of the turn for what has happened. The French turn is over with a general advance of all the army across the midline. So now this means that the Austrian have to repel the French, but the real fight started on the left, where the cavalry has charged into the horse artillery and the hussars, crushing both of them, ending both the chasseurs and cheval ending exhausted after the cavalry retreat. But the men of General Girardin have crushed 2 units, and the poor officer, Austrian officer, failed both its valor test and fortitude test, and so the Grenzen and the Jäger were take casualty for the nearby enemy. The fire put 1 casualty here the fire put 2 casualty into the Uhlans, put a casualty previously on the artillery and into the cavalry, which are now broken. The fire here put 1 casualty into the Jäger and 1 casualty into the line and 1 casualty into the Jäger. The artillery battery shoot into the counterpart, tried to silence the battery but failed, and put just 1 casualty, and that's it for the fire. The rest of the army, as you can see, are advanced, and now the French are over the middle line. Now it's the turn to the Austrian to try to repel the French as best as they can. This Austrian turn start with a 7 direct fire, and now they have to roll for the EA. On the left and the center they are equal, no bonuses. On the right they are slightly in disadvantage. So the first one is a 4. 4 means react, and the center they are probe, and on the right they are still for probe. So both of them prefer shooting against melee and shooting against the enemy, and engage melee only if the enemy are shaken or with counter-strike unit, essentially for all the sides. So we'll see what is going to happen. Back at the end of the turn for a recap. Interesting and profligate turn for the Austrian. Both the cavalry clear off the voltiger in front of them. They take 1 casualty, they take none, and despite they are shaken, they crush the counterpart, but they are in danger now. But they can retreat across their brigade, and I will make the move after a sec. In the center, the 2nd brigade has moved forward in mass formation to counter the heavy cavalry in front of them, and the cuirassiers here has moved forward ready to counter-strike, as said the EA. In the center, they outnumber the enemy, and so they will charge into the enemy. They take 4 casualty into the Polish, but they pass their test. The line and the column both shaken the dragoon on foot in front of them, but all of them pass their valor test. Here the column attack the voltigeur into the woods and crush them, and then their officer pass their fortitude test. But here General Bosalton failed one of his fortitude tests, so 1 defeat is inflicted to the French on this side, and that put an end to the... I forgot this melee. I'll be back in a second. And the melee end with the destruction of the veteran Leger by the Uhlans, which inflict 2 casualty, and they take just 1, so they win and they are routed. Now I move to the cavalry retreat and pass to the French turn. The French turn start with a 7 direct fire, and moving into the shooting, and the French counter charge to retake the center and their flank. The pressure mount, and Marshal Suchet want his force to take a foothold over the enemy line, because the time is running, and he want to be pushed back. He needed to take a foothold to allow the rest of the army to crush the enemy. Wow, what a bloody turn on both sides. Here the Grenzen were crushed, both the Grenzen were crushed. One was crushed by the Hussars and one by the Lancers, and now all the light cavalry, French light cavalry, is shaken because they take a casualty in return. This brigade here failed to activate at a crucial point because they want to push forward, but anyway, I dropped the card to activate one column which charged the wood and was bloody repelled and destroyed by the Austrian that are defending the terrain. But the Brigadier Solignac passed its morale, while Schwarzwurd failed another fortitude test and take a defeat. But this one here passed their valor, home rule, passed their valor, stay where they are. And the center, few things happen on this side. Here was bloody enough. The Swiss, the Polish and the column attack and crush the line of the Austrian. 3 of the 4 battalions that form in the 1st brigade was destroyed, and Colonel Hock take its 2nd defeat. So this unit here take 1 casualty, and the line that was not destroyed but are shaken failed at morale and is routed. On that side, the dragoons charge and crush the Grenzen here, the column, and being shaken in return. The column attack the light artillery, the horse artillery, and take 3 casualties in return, but destroy it. Here they crush the Grenzen but end shaken, and that put an end to the bloody turn for the French, and now moving into the Austrian turn. The turn for the Austrian start with 10, an objective that is no objective here, good for activate eventually any moment. I cannot use the well-disciplined because when they take valor test they fail more than once, and so every regiment take more than 1 casualty and fail more than once, so cannot use now. So equal defense, C3 means react, probe in the center, and probe on the right. So they will try to countercharge where they can, and on the left they stay on the defensive and shoot over fire. Another bloody turn for the Austrian this time. The Hussar here crush the column, but Basilton pass is fortitude test, so no defeat inflicted. This infantry in mass formation charge the shaken dragoon and crush them, but the heavy cavalry passed their test. La Roche passed their test, and this unit here was charged in the flank by another mass infantry. They win the melee and automatically crush the attacker, which Notwitz fail its fortitude. So 1 casualty each is inflicted to this 3-line battalion. The center of the French was completely crushed by the charge of the cavalry, the cuirassiers, and the grenadier of the reserve activated, dropping a card because the brigade failed an activation, and 1 line battalion from the Kerper brigade. So only the guard are in the center to continue the push, but they are far from the cavalry, so we'll see in the next turn. On that side here, both the grenadier take the massive formation and move to stop the cavalry, while on that side they stay where they are, and the Schwarzwurd brigade failed to activate. And that's it for the Austrian turn, and now moving into the French last turn, because the time is running short for today. It was a short game, but today I have a few time for this battle. I don't want to try it again, and despite the only 4 turn was played at the moment, it was a very bloody battle. Maybe the necessity to run mounted forced the mounting of the casualty quick enough. So the French last turn start with an all-out assault, very appropriate. Probably it will needed to win the game. And now moving into the French last turn. The last turn wasn't so impressive. This flank has marched forward as much as they can into the enemy line, but Austrian are ready to counter-strike. In the center, the Old Guard, probably they are rusted for the many times that I do not use them, because on 8 attack they roll 6-2, so only 2 eat 9 attack, only 2 eat into the Grenadier and take 4 wound in return. And here the heavy cavalry charged the mass formation, but both the cuirassiers were repelled by the mass of the men, taking 1 casualty, roll a 2 for attack, a couple of 2. Here, this the Salton Brigade launch an assault to the woods and successfully break the Jäger, and so the attacking this unit here are fairly into the woods. And that's it for the French turn. Start the last turn of the game, the last Austrian turn. So the turn start with the king. So for the Austrians it's another very good card. The king is medal and pension. In melee pick 1 Austrian brigade and 1 to every unit of that brigade during the attack for the rest of the phase. So we roll to see. Left 4 -1 because they are largely outnumbered, means reactors, they shoot essentially, but I have only cavalry here. In the center they are in advantage, so 3 is a react, counter-strike unit can charge, the other one shoot. On the right 5 is a probe -1. No, why not? They are in advantage, so no, Grenadier, let me double check. No, they are fair, so 5 is the remaining 5 is a min and a probe. The counter-strike unit can charge, the rest of the unit shoot if they can. Back at the end of the turn and for a recap of the game. And so the last turn it's over, and the only melee is here in the center, where the reserve Grenadier mauled the Old Guard Grenadier, crushing them very badly. They fail 3 morale tests. The reserve cuirassier crushed the last piece of the 2nd brigade, 3rd brigade, and they crush also the guard voltigeur. The guard passes its morale, but they're remaining with 1 battalion only. On the side here, the Hollands successfully charge in and score 3 hit out of 3, crushing the Dragoon Foot and forcing another defeat into the officer. So that's it for the game. Now proceeding measuring the officer. So the game states that every attacking officer into the opponent or defender half of the table grant victory point. If it is within 6 inches from the half of the table, this stick here, they grant 1 victory point, and the vanguard infantry and vanguard artillery doesn't count for this purpose. If they are more than 6 inches from the center, they grant 2 victory point, 5 victory point, I remember wrong, if they are into the deployment zone. So let me double check for the defeat and the points, and I'll see the result of the battle. And that's it. The final result is a very close one, more close than what I supposed at the beginning, and more closer than what I supposed after the first two French turn. So the Austrian score 6 defeat and 6.2 commander are behind the half of the table, a total of 12 points. The French score 5 points for the officer in this half of the table and 8 defeat. So 13 to 12 for the French. But let me say that with one more turn, probably the Austrian will push back that side of the table, because let me say that they failed to activate. They activate dropping a card, and this means that if they will successfully activate, they will push the French back or cause more casualty into them. But it is what it is. It was a very bloody battle, and the rule works pretty well. Let me say that Vanguard infantry is quite good, but I made a mistake making it too larger as a brigade. I fear the test for the defeat, but they stuck in the middle the rest of my troops, so smaller Vanguard infantry in the future. Vanguard artillery works pretty well, and my first idea seems to work, but I need more tests. As usual, French cavalry seems unable to charge the Austrian mass, but that's it. The courtiers of the empire, the Austrian Empire today, shine in the role of countercharge unit and make the counterpart, the French counterpart, to be embarrassed by their performance. So that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye bye, and as soon as possible with new battle report or other stuff. Bye bye.